So the question comes up in phase two, and it also comes up in VOMA. Is do you perform your grouping and your topic separations and breakaways in your VOMA? Like for example, this is on Edward Bach. There's a couple of ways we could approach this. We could have made phase two and drilled into each one of these and gone through all the brain damage of sorting out. I mean, and keep in mind that the sort out process takes a while to do properly. Okay, and it affects your top level total search market value. For example, on Edward Bach here, if you were to drill into it like we had, okay, and then I deleted it, now we only have one. Let's go over to the, stay with me here for a second. Let's go over to the VOMA again, to the view all clusters. Remember, we only have one VOMA here, which was our original flower essences, and we never had another VOMA breakdown in that. And we could have done this all under one VOMA if we wanted to. Okay, let's look at Edward Bach here. Here's our 27, right? Okay, there's 27 interesting keywords on this page. In order to match, to make sure that our top level theme cluster only had keywords that we wanted our client to rank for in phase two, we would have to make sure that there's nothing in there that doesn't apply to our client. Like for example, here's Flores Bach, okay? Notice how Flor Bach and Flores Bach are here. I'm going to delete those. The next one up is Fiore Bach and Aspen Bach. Let's say none of those were anything we were interested in showing the client on that phase two chart or graph, or even on our ranked domains function. When you delete it, what's going to happen is Krakken's going to delete those for you, but it's going to pull up some other things. Okay, see, you still have the same number of keywords for the most part, but they pulled some other ones up. Like let's get rid of these three, Serrato Bach, and see what comes up. Agrimony Bach is there. It's going to pull stuff from below the waterline. And notice how it's not Agrimony Bach. It brought up Larch Bach and a couple of other ones. Okay, it'll only pull up stuff if it's even remotely relevant. But my point is that in order to do a good job of sorting everything above the waterline, you really need to sort everything. You need to open the Show All Keywords list, expand the entire thing out, start from the bottom and just go through it once. Get rid of everything. If you want to be absolutely accurate on the total search market value, you got to make sure that you delete everything. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to go crazy and wondering why new keywords are showing up above the waterline in the most interesting keyword category. And then in your phase two, if you do decide to show the drill all function, you're going to be giving them dollar value amounts and traffic amounts for keywords that they may not even be interested in ranking, and it won't be of any value. Hopefully you understand what I said there, okay, because it's pretty important. My point here is that when you're in phase two, go to View All Clusters and go to back to Edward Bach in phase two. If you just want to show a chart that has to do with these keywords, which is what I call the topic grouping and scaling phase, phase two, and you don't want all the brain damage of drilling into each one and make sure that this chart and this number represents something that accurately reflects your client, that takes quite a bit of work. I mean, you can spend up to about 10 or 15 minutes per topic getting rid of keywords from the expanded view above and below the interesting keyword waterline, making sure that the keywords are only things your client are interested in. You can also reserve that all for the VOMA phase. Again, that's what VOMA is about. Let's go back again because I really want you to get this. You have this playground. View all clusters. Go back to your original flower essences. Go back to your Edward Bach. Since the charts in VOMA don't really matter, you can do breakaways all day. Okay, the Bach flower remedies. Go ahead and do a new theme. You might want to write these things down if you want, or you can get rid of them. Go ahead and continue on, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, in the VOMA phase, all of these are quarantined to the VOMA category. Furthermore, if you really want to control the charts and graphs, you can just create a VOMA that's only Edward Bach. Create cluster, name theme, cluster, name it Edward Bach. This is all just about hygiene, guys. Drill into it. And now, Edward Bach has its own VOMA area.